The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight on the podcast show. Just me, Sarah, going solo tonight. We got a wild ride in store for you tonight. It's been a crazy 2024 so far for wrestling. Tonight's agenda, we got that crazy WWE press conference that just happened, ended a little over an hour ago. I'm going to give you some of my personal predictions on what I think we could see WrestleMania match-wise, and then we'll see, what happens. We only know 2 matches for sure. We're going to talk a little bit about TNA. What the hell is going on in TNA right now? Kenny Jones in the comments saying hi. Thanks for joining us, Kenny. And then I got 2 little preview snippets from our interview that's debuting tomorrow, the first one of 2024. This is going to be Lance Pierson, mainly up in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Washington area. His interview debuts tomorrow. These clips appeared on TikTok. So if you're not following us on TikTok, make sure you follow us, Buckle Bump Entertainment. We're trying to get up to 1,000 followers. This way we can go live and do some live specials on TikTok. Let's talk about that press conference. Wild ride. The consensus everybody thinking was that we're going to get, the announcement of Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania. There's a couple other guest people there. I didn't see everything. I've seen some bits and clips, some news highlights. We saw, it looks like Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, Big E, and CM Punk were there kind of hosting. Big E, great to see him back. Great to see him on TV again. He did put out the comment. I'm not sure if this was at the press conference, but I did see it. He thinks the perfect way to bring him back. Didn't really say if it was the last, one last final match or how it was going. But it would be a trios match. The New Day, of course, with him against Imperium. I think that would be great. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that at WrestleMania, but we'll get into that in our next segment. On there, of course, we did have Rhea Ripley come out. She also kind of said, basically looking back for her challenger, saying it doesn't matter who she faces, she's going to win. We see Becky Lynch come out, just kind of challenger. She's throwing the gauntlet out, talking about, she's the one that's always bringing down the top girls, which is true. She's usually the one to knock people off their pedestal. I think we're going to get Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Nothing official announced, but they did quite get into it, and it has to be separated. The funny line, of course, Becky Lynch saying that she's going to show mommy what it feels like to be a bottom. Kind of had the crowd hooting and hollering a little bit, obviously for implications. Of course, the main part, we have, Cody teased it earlier on his Instagram stories, saying that he had made a decision. Indeed, he had made a decision. We learned that he has chosen Roman Reigns. We see Roman Reigns get all mad and frustrated, saying, it's too bad, it's too late. When in fact it's not. Cody Rhodes gets to pick his opponent. Roman hinting at that it was going to be him versus Rock, that it was all set. It's too bad. Roman telling Cody to get in line for the number 2 spot. Well, it's not happening. We've seen Triple H put it out there that it's official. Roman versus Cody Rhodes 2 for WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. What I'm curious about is what happened after. Rock and Cody kind of got into a scuffle. Cody talking about how it's a disgrace, or that their ancestors would be upset the way Roman is handling things. Well, that didn't sit well with Rock, saying, you talk about his ancestors and his bloodline. You're talking about mine. And we see, I believe it was the ending. I didn't see the ending of the press conference, but we see The Rock just slap the taste right out of Cody's mouth. And of course, people have to be separated. Will this lead to anything? Will this lead to a match between The Rock and Cody? Do we see The Rock versus Cody at WrestleMania? If we do, will the number one contendership at WrestleMania be on the line? Could we see The Rock take that from Cody at Elimination Chamber, and then that's how we get Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania? Who knows? Either way, that part of Elimination Chamber will kind of be very interesting, to say the least. But yeah, that was the press conference. There'll be a little bit more bits here and there to come out, I'm sure. Needless to say, WWE is putting out some great storylines right now. This WrestleMania build is great for the main event. Let's talk about some other, potential match predictions. So we have 2 matches so far that we know for sure are true that are happening. Bayley versus Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship, and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Those are the 2 matches we know are happening, or at least we believe are happening. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of tomfoolery or screw up or something that's going to happen with this Rock, Roman, and Cody storyline. I feel we're going to get Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the women's world title at WrestleMania. That one kind of feels like a lot, but we don't know with the Elimination Chamber. With Cody picking Roman, that leaves Seth Rollins and his World Heavyweight title open. It kind of feels cheap, but Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, that feels almost like it's a lock. They've kind of got some storyline building here. Like Seth said, we've seen that match happen twice. Drew loses twice. I believe it's going to be Drew, regardless of who Seth Rollins faces, though. I think we see Damian Priest cash in right at the end. Whether, Seth Rollins retains or his opponent wins title, immediate cash in. Or we can see what happened, what Seth Rollins did at WrestleMania, cash in during the middle of the match. We kind of just saw it happen at NXT Vengeance Day when Lola Vice cashed in her contract and inserted herself to make the NXT Women's Championship a triple threat with Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez. Logan Paul in the U.S. Championship. I believe it's going to be LA Knight. I wouldn't be surprised for them to keep building towards a rematch with Kevin Owens. I got other plans for Kevin Owens. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe he gets his rematch for the U.S. title at Elimination Chamber, or I believe there's another Saudi pay-per-view in March, I believe. We'll see. Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. I can see Gunther pulling double duty here, night 1 and night 2, unless he loses the title before WrestleMania, and I'll explain why. If he doesn't, if he's defending the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, I believe it's going to be against a returning Sheamus. Other than that, I don't really know who you could pit him against. However, I could also see what I kind of briefly touched on earlier. Gunther involved in a trios match with Imperium against the New Day, returning Big E. Whether that's his final match, because God, that injury he survives. Not only is he lucky to be alive, lucky to be walking. Who knows what kind of career he's going to have left? I can see him playing it safe. He's had a good career. If he feels it's best for him to keep going, maybe he sticks to tag matches and trios matches with New Day, which I feel at least is the best and safe bet for him to do now. Let's see what else. We have the tag team titles for both the men's and women's. I believe we're going to see triple threat matches, where we see one SmackDown team and one Raw team compete against the champions. So I believe we're going to see Finn and Damian defend in the triple threat against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate from SmackDown and the Creed brothers representing Raw. The women's tag team championships, I believe Asuka and Kairi Sane hold on to those. I believe they will be defending against Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, as well as Alba Fyler and Isla Dawn. Those being the two triple threat matches. Other non-title matches I believe we can see. I believe we're going to get Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. I believe we're going to get a tag match between Dominic Mysterio teaming with JD McDonough and see them take on Miz and R-Truth. Maybe where R-Truth has finally realized he's not in Judgment Day, and this is kind of the payoff match. Kind of throwing this one out there. I'm kind of hoping for it. There's really no story for it yet. Maybe Liv Morgan and Chelsea Green have a match against each other at WrestleMania. This is kind of a stacked card here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 matches, 13 to 14 matches between the two nights. It's probably where you're sitting at here. Whether or not they do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown again this year, like they have the past 2 years. I hope not. I hope they move it to at least the WrestleMania pre-show. They can probably stick a couple other matches on the pre-show. We'll see. We'll see how many of these matches hold up. We do have some interesting, wild stuff going on with TNA wrestling right now. Scott D'Amore, who really, really brought that promotion up from the ground up. I mean, that not built it from the ground up. It was existence beforehand. But that promotion was low to almost being gone and non-existent. Scott D'Amore built that into probably what was the promotion with the hottest hand going into 2024. They signed Nick Nemeth. A couple other people. Okada came in for a couple matches. Trinity was there for a while. Now she's back with WWE. I mean, these guys had a lot of good matches going. People were loving them. They didn't have the greatest way to access them. I know you can go on YouTube for 99 cents an episode you can watch, which is really good. Not everybody has access TV. I could get it, but it's an upper tier cable package, which that's tough, especially nowadays when cable is really expensive. It's tough to justify it. But yesterday we get word that he's been fired. Everyone, I mean, you can see Twitter going nuts. Whether it's justice for Scott D'Amore, what's going on? This isn't right. Wrestlers are in shock. They had to have an emergency staff meeting. Heard things kind of got wild. People want answers. while we haven't really gotten official, there's been 2 rumors of sorts as to what's going on. One is the probably bullshit excuse of budget cuts. There's also what I believe is the more logical reason, being reported by PW Insider, that at least what I believe is being reported by PW Insider. I don't have it on good sources. I've just roughly seen this not too long ago. Scott D'Amore approached Anthem looking for a buyout, looking to buy out so he can solely own TNA. Maybe not solely own, because he did have a big financial backer. So maybe him being the majority stake, or at least the lead man for this majority group, looking to buy out Anthem Sports and own TNA. Instead, he gets fired. Anthony Cicione, I don't know if I'm saying that last name right, is now the new president. I'm wondering, some people are being reported that, it was a really good offer and they should consider it, and very well may have been heavily considered. Apparently, somebody didn't take too kind and said, nope, fire him. I'm kind of also wondering if all the heavy promotion for Jordan Grace making an appearance in the WWE Royal Rumble ruffled some people in Anthem Sports the wrong way. And now maybe we may never see something like that again from TNA. I mean, I believe this was 2 years in a row where we got the TNA Women's Champion, or Knockouts Champion, in the WWE Royal Rumble. Mickie James last year, if I'm not mistaken, it was last year. Either last year or 2 years ago. But I'm pretty sure it was last year. Obviously, this is a developing story. Us here at Buckle Bomb Entertainment, we're big fans of TNA. So we're really upset with this. Kind of wondering what's going to happen. So we're going to follow the story closely. We'll update as much as possible. Really upsetting. As far as, like I said, we have our first interview debuting tomorrow. It is Lance Pierson out of the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to play 2 clips here for you. One is about 38 seconds. The other is about 1:07. These are just 2 kind of previews here as to what you're going to see. Watching WWE growing up, what you have your impressions of Lance Storm, and then when you actually got to meet him, were they very different?
That guy is he's just amazing. Like, people say Chris Jericho's the GOAT, which there's some truth behind that, I'd say, but already surpassed Chris Jericho. Like, think of how quickly this guy's evolved from.
All right, so there's that preview. Here's another preview of what you're going to find in tomorrow's interview.
Ask you 5 random questions. If you were an actor and starred in any movie that has already been made, what movie would it be and why?
Yeah.
That's right. I do remember seeing a picture of you in a UFC ring. Were you ever training in MMA?
It's called like the electric chair. I gotta know. You mentioned you collected the action figures and the Funko Pops. What was your favorite one out of all the ones you ever got? And last question: if you got to sit front row for any wrestling match, whether it's happened in the present or one that you want to see, what is that match?
That one is like probably one of the greatest tear-jerker match I think I've ever seen in my entire life, and still.
And this is going to be trivia. The person who reaches 3 will be the winner of this prizeless game that we.
All right, so stay tuned for that interview tomorrow. Most of our interviews are going to drop on Friday. We do have a couple more interviews coming up. We're interviewing mostly out of the Pacific Northwest right now. We have Princess Deathwish, Amira King Nasha, and Rashad Tyson. all 4 of those you're going to find here. We'll keep you updated. We'll throw a couple other previews in so you can see what's going on. We've got some great interviews we're also working on for the future. We're hoping we can average about 2 or 3 a month. So stay tuned for those. Thank you for joining me here tonight on what's been so far a wild February. I don't anticipate March or April slowing down. Thank you. Stay tuned and give us a follow on TikTok. Let's get to 1,000. Thank you.